Well, hello. I'm going to show you how to do my Milesian stitch, and it's a nice bit on the lacy side here, and it's a really textured stitch. Very easy to do. Didn't use any purls doing it. You can see it has a load of texture and loft. And then I'll show you the other side. That's what it looks like. And I'll hold it up to the light and you can see. Okay, so that's what it looks like. And the yarn I'm using is a Mary Maxim yarn. Mary Maxim Aspen yarn. It's a number 5. It's a nice bulky yarn. It's green with some flecks of color in it. Let's see if I can find the color. The exact color is Alpine. Okay, and then the loom. This is a 5/8 inch loom. It's a Cindy Wood loom. It's a 10.5 inch diameter. And it has 48 pegs. So it's like the Nifty Knitter Purple loom for both the size of it and the gauge, the 5/8 inch gauge. Okay, so this is a stitch video, so I'm not going to show you how to do a whole project, but I'm going to give you enough tips that you'll be able to make something. So let's talk about the loom setup. So I did a 2-peg edge, so I have the 2 pegs set up here and yellow, so I'd know that they go together. And then it's a 2-peg stitch, and we're always going to wrap the same 2 pegs the same way. So the next 2 pegs I had no marker on, so I'll know they go together. The next 2 I put a marker on, next 2 no marker, next 2 a marker, next 2 no marker, and then the end peg. So you'll be using even pegs. And my cast on is a crochet chain cast on. It's on my YouTube, so you'll be able to find it there. And I just did that. Then I did 1 row of owl eye and started right in on the pattern. And if you need to know how to do owl eye, that's also on my channel. Okay, so I'm just going to show you how to do the stitch, and I'll show you the edge I'm doing. Now it's a very long stitch, so it's important you have a long edge. So you're not going to be able to slip your edges. That won't work. I mean, you could if you slipped them really loose, but you'd have these really loose edges, and you wouldn't want that. So you can use any edge that's tighter. I worked out one that I like with this because it goes along. It looks good with the stitch. It has a slight bumpy appearance here, and it just kind of looks like that. So it looks fine. It's tight enough it won't snag on anything. Okay, so we'll just get started. I've already done the end stitches, but I will show you how I did that when we get to the other side. So here's our first 2 pegs to wrap, and we're going to do an owl eye stitch on them. We go over peg 1, 2 peg pair, peg 1, peg 2, and we knit it over. Then we come and we re-wrap it. We wrap over peg 1 and 2 and knit them over. And I've got this nice and close to the camera so you can see, because I know the yarn and the loom don't give that much contrast, but I really had no choice. I've recently moved. I don't have all my looms, and it was really hard to find a loom to use. Okay, so we've got this, we've just done the 2 allies, and we've got the yarn here, and we're going to put it between the 2 pegs that we just wrapped. And we're going to do a figure 8, and we're going to go between, over this one, back up the middle, and to the back. So we have now 2 pieces of yarn on each peg, and then we're just going to knit them off. And that's it. That's all there is to the stitch. We go to the next one, 2 peg pair. We wrap peg 1 like that, come from behind, wrap over peg 1 and 2, knit them over, yarn in between the 2, in front of this one, back in between, and in front of this one, and just knit them over. Then take the yarn, go over to the next 2 peg pair, wrap number 1 over 1 and 2, come back between the 2 pegs, over, back up in front, just like that, and knit it off. Now there's a little gear, bottom right hand corner of YouTube. If you click on it, you can slow down the video. So if you need to watch this, that can help. Okay, so over peg 1, and over peg 1 and 2, middle, to the back, around, and in front, and knit it over. Next 2 peg pair, peg 1, wrap over 1 and 2, and knit it over. Then we're going to do the end stitches. So I'm just doing my usual basic ally, but adding something so it'll be a longer stitch. So go over peg 1, wrap peg 1 and 2, then I come back around. Now we're 1 and 2. I'm going to wrap this one, come back around and wrap it again, and that puts an extra stitch on it, and knit them off, and that's the edge. And come back this way. This is now peg 1, this is peg 2. So we knit peg 1, come around over peg 1 and 2, take the working yarn, come between, behind, between again, and in front of peg 2, and knit it off. Okay, come here, next peg pair, knit peg 1, over 1 and 2, working yarn between, back, around, and in front. Next 2 peg pair. Okay, I'll go nice and slow, come up nice and close for you. Okay. Over the next 2 peg pair. Between, back, and around. and then our end stitches. So we come around, do peg 1, wrap peg 1 and 2, wrap peg 1, now 1 and 2 this way, and then wrap peg 1 and 2. And then back to peg 1 and 2, and we keep wrapping them the same like that. So let's take another look at this and see, by doing this it leaves you a nice long stretchy edge that works with the stitches. And let us stretch this out a little bit so you can see it better. Take a really good look at it. So really nice texture stitch, works really good for shawls or scarves. If you do it in the round, it will work great for a hat, but the difference you're going to have is, if you take a look at this, it has a slight wavy effect as you come down, and that's because you're going back and forth and back and forth. When you're working in the round and you're going around and around, this is going to be straighter, so you'll still have the loft, it just will be straighter as it comes down here. Still looks really good. Now there's a video on my channel of how to do a cast off that matches this cast on, so you're welcome to go take a look at that if you'd like to use that. And I hope you enjoyed the video of the Milesian stitch, and until next time, bye.